Got a great video for y'all today. It's called How Great Leaders Inspire Action, Simon Sinek. I hope I said his name right. It's a TED. Let's get into it. Show you how it go.
How do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or better, how do you explain when others are able to achieve things that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different? Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and he certainly wasn't the only great orator of the day. Why him? And why is it that the Wright brothers were able to figure out controlled powered manned flight when there were certainly other teams who were better qualified, better funded, and they didn't achieve powered manned flight, and the Wright brothers beat them to it? There's something else at play here. About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery, and this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operate in it. As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle.
He got me on the edge of my seat. Woo! Some powerful people.
Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out.
Wow, that is good. It just makes me think of why Snowie Atlanta exists in the first place. Snowie Atlanta is truly following this code. The why. The why was to create an experience that my dad had with his dad before his dad left him at 3 years old. That's the why. That's literally what sparked the business. And what makes it even crazier is that wasn't top of mind while the business started. It was more of a, okay, this is a way out of corporate. This is an opportunity for me to take control over my time, over my life. And this is a way for me to still make money, but still create a positive difference and serve people shaved ice. That's a positive environment. So being a positive environment, doing a positive thing, and creating an ecosystem of happiness and fulfillment. But the true why is to create that experience. That is the why. That is the why. That what I teach at training is, what's your favorite song? somebody says their favorite song. Okay, tell me the story of the first time you heard it. Everybody has that story. Everybody has that story because there's a why behind it. There's a why behind why that's your favorite song. It's an attachment that you have towards it. I'm gonna let him go crazy, but it opens my mind because I've never seen something like this, but it shows what's going on. And then you have the why to deliver that experience. Because then I circle back to, this is what we want at Snowie Atlanta. We want you to have that unforgettable, memorable experience that you take for the rest of your life and give you that reason to come back to us. Then we have the how. The how, delivering shaved ice. Having a system in place, a scalability system foundation in place to where we can create those memorable experiences in the Brave Stadium, at Georgia Tech, at Georgia State, Kennesaw State, at all of these places that could use that market. And yeah, it's beautiful. So I might have made a mistake because the how is the system, the what is the shaved ice. So the why, memorable experience, how, creating these systems of scalability to create a foundation so we can deliver that high level service, memorable experience, and what through shaved ice. This is a beautiful scale, and I just can't wait for his technical response because I'm not Steve Jobs, not Martin Luther King, I'm not the Wright brothers, I'm working hard to get there, but these are some high level people that have impacted billions of people with a B. So these are all inspiring people in all of our life, in my life, in our team's life, in my family's life. So I'm so excited. This is beautiful. We're only 3 minutes in. Wow.
Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this: we make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our...
And if we stop just there, it would be, what are we? We're a shaved ice business. How? How do we deliver? Well, we're a mobile shaved ice business, so we travel through these vehicles, through these units, and we deliver shaved ice. That's it. It would end right there. Excuse me. Wow. And where's the retention? Where's the connection? Where's the feeling? These are just actions. These are just what we do and how we do it. And that's good because so I feel like there's so many businesses that fail and die because they lack that why. They lack that burning desire to do it. Because how many businesses stop being in business because it's not working financially? Then you realize that the foundation of the business of why you even created it was to make money. And sometimes that's just not enough. Even if you are making money, where's the fulfillment?
Our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right?
Whoa.
You ready to buy a computer from me?
Hold on, I need to
Want to buy
back.
one? Use and user-friendly. Is by making our product in thinking differently, in challenging the status quo. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You ready to buy a computer from me? All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple...
And what's scary about that is I didn't even know that why. Yet I got the iPhone right here. Oh my gosh, the subconscious effect that why has throughout the entire world is transformational. That is huge. You don't even understand why you got it until you get this information, and then it clicks. It's like, whoa, okay, this is why they're able to deliver this service. This is why they have the most innovative technology, because their vision is so much higher than the majority. Man, this is good.
It's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all equally qualified to make all of these products. In fact, they tried. A few years ago, Gateway came out with flat screen TVs. They're eminently qualified to make flat screen TVs. They've been making flat screen monitors for years. Nobody bought one. And Dell came out with MP3 players and PDAs. And they make great quality products, and they can make perfectly well-designed products, and nobody bought one. In fact, talking about it now, we can't even imagine buying an MP3 player from Dell. Why would you buy an MP3 player from a computer company? But we do it every day. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. Here's the best part. None of what I'm telling you is my opinion. It's all grounded in the tenets of biology, not psychology, biology. If you look at a cross-section of the human brain, looking from the top down, what you see is the human brain is actually broken into three major components that correlate perfectly with the golden circle. Our newest brain, our Homo sapien brain, our neocortex, corresponds with the what level. The neocortex is responsible for all of our rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections make up our limbic brains, and our limbic brains are responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior, all decision-making, and it has no capacity for language. In other words, when we communicate from the outside in, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features and benefits and facts and figures. It just doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from.
That's insane.
You know, sometimes you can give somebody all the facts and your figures, and they say, I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right. Why would we use that verb? It doesn't feel right. Because the part of the brain that controls decision-making doesn't control language. And the best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Or sometimes you say you're leading with your heart or you're leading with your soul. Well, I hate to break it to you, those aren't other body parts controlling your behavior. It's all happening here in your limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls decision-making and not language.
I didn't know
But
that,
if you
man.
don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, then how will you ever get people to vote for you or buy something from you, or more importantly, be loyal and want to be a part of what it is that you do? Again, the goal is not just to sell people who need what you have. The goal is to sell to people who believe what you believe. The goal is not...
And that is when people will truly fight for you. They will fight for you when y'all have the same belief system. Then you have an opportunity that they have, and then they have an opportunity that you, and it coexists together because y'all have the same belief system. So you care about what they care about what you care about. So now, if you guys are in any type of pickle, that person is going to help you. That person is going to call that person that can help you, that can put you in the right position, to put you in the right room, because they trust you, because they know, they believe what you believe. Y'all are in alignment. And being in alignment, it allows for that communication to be subconscious, to where y'all want to retain each other. Y'all want to make sure each other are good. Y'all want to make sure the relationship is sustainable. And that precedes and supersedes the product. Wow. Like he's saying the what and the how. That's good, man.
Just to hire people who need a job. It's to hire people who believe what you believe. I always say that, there's if you hire people just because they can do a job, they'll work for your money. But if you hire people who believe what you believe, they work for you with blood and sweat and tears. And nowhere else is there a better example of this than with the Wright brothers.
I didn't even think about staff. I was more thinking about it in far as like the deal client to business owner aspect, but staff too. I didn't think about like that staff member is going to go that extra mile to make sure that the systems are in place, to ask that question that maybe nobody has asked, to make sure that the business is more efficient. They're going to go that extra mile because they care. It's deeper than just the money. It's deeper than just a transactional deal. It is now apparently, to what he's saying, the deep limbic brain aspect that is going to create that behavior that is going to allow you to be that over the top person, to make sure that both that the relationship just sustains and it makes and everything is good. This is wow.
Most people don't know about Samuel Pierpont Langley. And back in the early
No
20th
clue.
century, the pursuit of powered man flight was like the .com of the day. Everybody was trying it. And Samuel Pierpont Langley had what we assume to be the recipe for success. I mean, even now, you ask people, why did your product or why did your company fail? And people always give you the same permutation of the same three things. Undercapitalized, the wrong people,
Money.
bad market conditions. It's always the same three things. So let's
Undercapitalized. I want to break that down.
capitalized, the wrong people, bad market conditions.
Bad market conditions, undercapitalized, bad people. Or undercapitalized, bad marketing, bad people. Yes. None of that is the why aspect. Both undercapitalized, that's money. Staff, that's relationship. The relationship isn't, it has to be transactional because that person was not going above board in order to truly retain that relationship. There's no why in that. That's good, man. This template makes sense. I've never seen it like this, but it makes sense.
It's always the same three things. So let's explore that. Samuel Pierpont Langley was given $50,000 by the War Department to figure out this flying machine. Money was no problem. He held a seat at Harvard and worked at the Smithsonian and was extremely well connected. He knew all the big minds of the day. He hired the best minds money could find, and the market conditions were fantastic. The New York Times followed him around everywhere, and everyone was rooting for Langley. And how come we've never heard of Samuel Pierpont Langley? A few hundred miles away in Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright. They had none of what we consider to be the recipe for success. They had no money. They paid for their dream with the proceeds from their bicycle shop. Not a single person on the Wright brothers' team had a college education, not even Orville or Wilbur.
What?
And the New York Times followed them around nowhere. The difference was Orville and Wilbur were driven by a cause, by a purpose, by a belief. They believed that if they could figure out this flying machine, it'll change the course of the world. Samuel Pierpont Langley was different. He wanted to be rich and he wanted to be famous. He was in pursuit of the result. He was in pursuit of the riches. And lo and behold,
And that's, oh my gosh. Your attachment to a result is a setup for failure. And let me explain that. If your attachment is not to the purpose and to the journey, you will fail, or you will never be satisfied and fulfilled. You won't, because you are attached to the result. And it's a cycle to that. As soon as you reach that result, you have not built the muscle to truly appreciate the journey, to appreciate the mission. So now you're looking for the next result. You're looking for the next result. So now it's a cycle. You will never fill that hole that you promise as soon as you get that result, it will fill it. No, you're building a cycle to where you can never truly retain happiness. If you appreciate the journey, if you appreciate the wins, the losses, the fails, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the good, the bad, the ugly, if you embrace all of that, you're going to feel so much more fulfilled. It's going to drive you. It's going to make you, and then you have to have that backing in the back of your head of why you're doing all this in the first place. It's easy when things are good, but when it's bad, to have that backing in the back of your head, man, I'm doing this to change the world, like the Wright brothers said. Then that 10 time they failed, or 100 time they failed, 1,000 time they failed, whatever the case is, he probably or is going to explain it. You have that backing in the back of your head. No, we're trying to change the world. When the other guy that I've never heard of, when he failed, he probably was like, well, just like, I failed, so now I'm not going to be famous. Now I'm not going to be rich, or no, I'm good. I'm embarrassed. I've spent all this money and now I lost it. The New York Times just watched me fail. I'm a failure. This, that, like, all of these, because your attachment is to the result. It's not to the journey. It's not to everything, the aspect that is truly going to drive what you care about, what your purpose is, what your journey is. And that is what is going to supersede life, is what's going to now have us have this conversation right here. If it was just money based, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because it's not an absolute truth. There are people that are billionaires that are not happy, and there are people that aren't billionaires, that are not in a good financial situation, that are the happiest people on this earth, because they have the difference is the attachment to the result, the why, their purpose on why they exist on this world. That supersedes everything. And oh man, this is good stuff.
Behold, look what happened. The people who believed in the Wright brothers' dream worked with them with blood and sweat and tears. The others just worked for the paycheck. And they tell stories of how every time the Wright brothers went out, they would have to take 5 sets of parts, because that's how many times they would crash before they came in for supper. And eventually, on
Wow.
December 17th, 1903,
Think
the Wright brothers
about
took
that.
flight.
Oh my
And no one was
God.
there to even experience it. We found out about it a few days later. And
Because it wasn't for the notoriety. It was for the burning like, you can't be there all the time if you're truly passionate about something. But if your intention is to be in the limelight, is to be famous, to be notarized, then you're always gonna have that person with you, that New York Times, that interviewer, that person. So when it does happen, you're all in the limelight. You're all feeling good. They did it with nobody watching. How many nights, how many hours they could not sleep and just got to work, man. Oh man, this is ooh, this is good, and it just makes me feel about our business and our get up and go. Our get up and go. It's not financial based. It's not notarized based. It's to make a true difference. It's to create a true memory that will transcend time. Transcend time, because when you think of a memory, there's no attachment to time. I can't think of the time where somebody did something good to me. I don't know exactly the date. I don't know exactly the time, but I remember exactly what happened, because it resonates with the why of the brain, and I'm gonna say it too, with my soul. It's something that transcends life. It transcends time. This is great, and this is what we do, and this is what we train, and this is what we implement into our systems, and this is what we want people to get the taste of Snowy Atlanta. This is what we do. Yes, shaved ice is a byproduct of the mission, which is a byproduct of creating that memorable experience that transcends time. That is our why. That is our why. That is why we get up early in the morning. That's why we make sure that our square POS system is working. Our shavers are intact. Our flavor stations, they all work. They all have the correct lighting. Our trucks have oil, and all of the generators are working. And all of the other units are working smooth. And an automated system. So when that person that is delivering the high level service does not have to think about anything else. And that is going to create that memorable experience. That is going to allow them to have their eyes open when that kid drops their snow cone and having tears. And then they come back to the parent comes back ready to pay for that snow cone that their kid dropped. And we are already giving them that snow cone because we're watching. We know the importance of delivering that service. So we're not going to miss that opportunity. We're not going to miss it. And that is that is our business. Nothing exists without that. It doesn't exist. The customer service aspect is what drives our business. And that is and the customer service is just the technical term of delivering that memorable experience that we want to deliver at Snowie Atlanta. This it's beautiful because your brain is involved, your heart is involved, and you go and you have good people. You know you have good intentions, you work hard, you have a good heart. But to see a template like this, it like truly conceptualize why you do the things that you do at the level you do it, why you have that get up and go, why you have that burning desire to get things done. It makes sense now. It's good.
Further proof that Langley was motivated by the wrong thing, the day the Wright brothers took flight, he quit. He could have said, "That's an amazing discovery, guys. Now we'll improve upon your technology." But he didn't. He wasn't first. He didn't get rich. He didn't get famous. So he quit. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And if you talk about what you believe, you will attract those who believe what you believe. Well, why is it important to attract those who believe what you believe? Something called the law of diffusion of innovation. And if you don't know the law, you definitely know the terminology. The first 2.5% of our population are our innovators. The next 13.5% of our population are our early adopters. The next 34% are your early majority, your late majority, and your laggards. The only reason these people buy touch-tone phones is because you can't buy rotary phones anymore. We all sit at various places at various times on the scale, but what the law of diffusion of innovation tells us is that if you want mass market success or mass market acceptance of an idea, you cannot have it until you achieve this tipping point between 15 and 18% market penetration, and then the system tips. And I love asking businesses, what's your conversion on new business? And they love to tell you, oh, it's about 10%, proudly. Well, you can trip over 10% of the customers. We all have about 10% who just get it. That's how we describe them, right? That's like that gut feeling, oh, they just get it. The problem is, how do you find the ones that just get it before you're doing business with them versus the ones who don't get it? So it's this here, this little gap, that you have to close, as Geoffrey Moore calls it, crossing the chasm. Because you see, the early majority will not try something until someone else has tried it first.
Wow.
And these guys, the innovators and the early adopters, they're comfortable making those gut decisions. They're more comfortable making those intuitive decisions that are driven by what they believe about the world, and not just what product is available. These are the people who stood online for 6 hours to buy an iPhone when they first came out, when you could have just walked into the store the next week and bought one off the shelf. These are the people who spent $40,000 on flat screen TVs when they first came out, even though the technology was substandard. And by the way, they didn't do it because the technology was so great. They did it for themselves. It's because they wanted to be first. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. In fact, people will do the things that prove what they believe.
What you do proves what you believe. Ooh-wee. That's good. That's good. We don't understand how important our subconscious mind is. And our belief system lies within our subconscious mind. And our actions, they follow. They follow. And our reactions also follow. That's good.
Believe. The reason that person bought the iPhone in the first 6 hours, or stood in line for 6 hours, was because of what they believed about the world and how they wanted everybody to see them. They were first. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So let me give you a famous example, a famous failure and a famous success of the law of diffusion of innovation. First, the famous failure. It's a commercial example. As we said before a second ago, the recipe for success is money and the right people and the right marketing conditions, right? You should have success then. Look at TiVo. From the time TiVo came out about 8 or 9 years ago to this current day, they are the single highest quality product on the market. Hands down, there is no dispute. They were extremely well funded. Market conditions were fantastic. I mean, we use TiVo as a verb. I TiVo stuff on my piece of junk Time Warner DVR all the time.
Forgive me, I'm young. I don't really know what this is.
TiVo is a commercial failure. They've never made money. And when they went IPO, their stock was at about $30 or $40 and then plummeted, and it's never traded above 10. In fact, I don't think it's even traded above 6, except for a couple of little spikes. Because you see, when TiVo launched their product, they told us all what they had. They said, we have a product that pauses live TV, skips commercials, rewinds live TV, and memorizes your viewing habits without you even asking. And the cynical majority said, we don't believe you, we don't need it, we don't like it, you're scaring us. What if they had said, if you're the kind of person who likes to have total control over every aspect of your life, boy, do we have a product for you. It pauses live TV, skips commercials, memorizes your viewing habits, etc., etc. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, and what you do simply serves as the proof of what you believe. Now let me give you a successful example of the law of diffusion of innovation.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking
Dang,
about
this
it.
is good.
Meet
Whoa.
Base 44, a complete...
In the summer of 1963, 250,000 people showed up on the Mall in Washington to hear Dr. King speak. They sent out no invitations, and there was no website to check the date. How do you do that? Well, Dr. King wasn't the only man in America who was a great orator. He wasn't the only man in America who suffered in a pre-civil rights America. In fact, some of his ideas were bad. But he had a gift. He didn't go around telling people what needed to change in America. He went around and told people what he believed. I believe, I believe, I believe, he told people. And people who believed what he believed took his cause and they made it their own, and they told people. And some of those people created structures to get the word out to even more people. And lo and behold, 250,000 people showed up on the right day, on the right time to hear him speak. How many of them showed up for him? 0. They showed up for themselves. It's what they believed about America that got them to travel on a bus for 8 hours to stand in the sun in Washington in the middle of August. It's what they believed, and it wasn't about black versus white. 25% of the audience was white. Dr. King believed that there are 2 types of laws in this world, those that are made by a higher authority and those that are made by man. And not until all the laws that are made by man are consistent with the laws that are made by the higher authority will we live in a just world. It just so happens that the civil rights movement was the perfect thing to help him bring his cause to life. We followed him not for him, but for ourselves. And by the way, he gave the I have a dream speech, not the I have a plan speech.
Whoa, whoa. Hey, shout out Martin Luther King. That's deep. That's deep. Because what he's talking about with belief, a plan is something you feel like you know or want to implement. A dream is a true belief. You dream, you believe that this is something that can happen. This is something that is resonated with you, that you want to exist, that is in dream state. That's good. Yeah, that's really good. Because the level of implementation it has to be beyond him, which is why the dream is resonated with you because it's a belief. Like he said, they came for themselves because they saw the vision that he had for humanity in themselves, and they wanted to be a part of that. That's really good, and it's just the different perception of it. I never really thought of it like that.
Listen to politicians now with their comprehensive 12-point plans. They're not inspiring anybody. Because there are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or authority, but those who lead inspire us. Whether they're individuals or organizations, we follow those who lead not because we have to, but because we want to. We follow those who lead not for them, but for ourselves. And it's those who start with why that have the ability to inspire those around them or find others who inspire them. Thank you very much.
Wow! Man, that was good. Woo! Man, that was good. Shout out Simon Sinek. Shout out Ted. Like, comment, and subscribe. That was a great video. Y'all have a great day.